You're listening to the Smash Bros. Cast, episode 12. I'm your host, N64 Josh, my co-host and sparring partner, Nightcrawler. What's up, man?
How's it going?
It is going so good. We're doing this live right now, twitch.tv/N64Josh. It's after 10 o'clock on Thursday, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've got East Coasters hanging out with us, Shellshock Prime, all the way from the East Coast. It's past 1 a.m. You're a crazy person. Thank you for being here with us live. We have a great show planned for you guys tonight. We're going to talk about some Smash Bros. Leaks. We know who's going to be casting the Smash Invitational. We'll talk a little bit about that. Crawler found somewhat of a local scene near him, so that's pretty awesome. And we're going to be looking at Cloud as our character today. So let's jump into this thing, man.
Let's do it.
Who are the casters for the Smash Bros. Invitational?
All right, so this popped up. I think it was this morning. I saw it right when I sent it to you.
Yes, announced today.
Yeah, and we have their Twitter handles and kind of a little bit of a history on kind of their history with either Smash and or esports casting. So we have Jordan Kent, Vicky Kitty, Vicious Fish, and TK Breezy. And I think you were telling me a little bit about the history of some of these guys.
Yeah, so Jordan is the only one that I'm real familiar with, and even that's just from what I've seen from the Nintendo World Championships and the Splatoon US and Canada Open. He did that, and we've seen him. I believe we even saw him at the ARMS tournament that they did during E3
the
last year.
On I think that was that just on YouTube, or did they live stream that?
Whatever they did, where they had the developers playing against. I want to say he may have done that as well. So not the one that was just a couple. No,
last month. Okay.
Well, there's a very good chance he did that as well. Usually when Nintendo's putting something on, this guy's casting it, and he does an excellent job. He does a really good job. So he's the only one that I am familiar with. I'm excited to hear from the rest of them. It looks like a great group, and just looking at their Twitter feeds and seeing all the tweets coming at them that they're retweeting, there's a lot of people that are really hyped for them casting this stuff. So they're excited. I'm excited. I think it's a good thing.
With 4 people, they'll be able to kind of mix and match. Usually there's traditionally like 2 casters that are calling the matches. So maybe they're gonna. I think didn't they with the Nintendo World Championships kind of have kind of a panel that was in between matches talking about stuff, and then separate a group that would look over as the games were taking place, kind of live commentate as well. So maybe they'll have kind of the guys back in the studio, quote unquote, to throw it back to, but then also the actual game casters that are there for the match as it's taking place.
Yeah, they could have 2 of them on the floor, taking interviews right away, getting, talking to the players after they're over, that kind of stuff as people are prepping for the next matches. I mean, all 4 of them may be sitting up at a desk. We don't know what the plan is going to be exactly, but they're ready. And it's
one of them's probably going to get sent out in the crowd to go pull out the crazy dressed person to pull him up on stage, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you think back to the Nintendo World Championships, that Jordan guy seriously impressed me, because they would be like you could tell in his ear he would hear, okay, stall, and so he would just start talking, and then somebody would say something to him, and then he would say, and then he would stop mid-sentence, and now we're back, and he would just so organically just was fluid. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
And even during the Nintendo World Championships, they had 14 people playing at the same time, and they obviously had help monitoring the play that was going on at that time, but to be able to multitask and keep an eye on everything that was going on, it's challenging.
Yeah, for sure. And he knocked it out of the park. So I'm excited to hear from each and every one of these guys. And so it'll be a good time. Possible Smash character leak. I grabbed an article, or you grabbed an article from comicbook.com. I'll have it in the show notes. n64josh.com/SBC12. This leak comes from a GameFAQs user by the name of Vergeben. I think I'm saying it right. Who leaked TMNT DLC for Injustice, and he leaked the debut of Soul Calibur VI. Here's what the leak says. More characters than WiiU. The entire returning cast from WiiU. And new characters. Ridley. A Konami representative, which is probably Solid Snake. That's the guess.
So we could get an old Brawl character.
Possibly. Ice Climbers are coming back, according to this leak. Simon Belmont, which is one I was calling for a while ago, was like, hey, where's Simon? Which, that's also a Konami representative.
Mm-hmm.
Shellshock Prime in the chat said Bomberman, ? Spiro, Crash, and Goku is also mentioned in this article, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what? Here's one more thing I'll say about this. I've seen a handful of people on Twitter who seem to be in the know. These are the people that I consider to be in the know. Like they even get some insider info, that kind of stuff. They are even agreeing and saying, yes, like, not that, yes, this is true, but they're leaning towards the fact that this could be a bigger roster than the WiiU. Take it away, man. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, well, and that's kind of what we've been talking about for the last couple weeks here, is just that it is a 50-man or 59-man roster on the current WiiU version of Smash, and how there's so many more characters that we could hope to see, and characters that were forgotten from Brawl and the other games there. I think Brawl maybe is the only one that has missing characters right now. Is there anybody from Melee that wasn't represented? I'm drawing a blank if there is.
But I think Pichu.
Yeah, I guess that's maybe it. But yeah, just like where's Wolf? Where's some of those characters from? I mean, Pokemon Trainer was in Brawl. So there's those handful of characters that everyone's kind of wondering about, and why not, if they were there once upon a time, why not bring it back and just make this the best Smash that it can be? And I guess the only hiccup there could be just balancing and what it's going to be. But I think the more the merrier for me. I think just options and a new meta can maybe rise, and it can only be good.
Here's what I think. This is what if this leak is true, and remember, take all of this with a grain of salt. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. If this leak is true, I believe firmly Smash Bros. On the Switch is a new game. We're not getting a port in the traditional sense. We're not getting Smash Bros. WiiU on the Switch. But I do believe this game is a port with added features similar to Mario Kart 8. It's not even going to be called that. Splatoon, we've talked about, is very similar. Is more of a 1.5 compared to 1, right? You're even seeing reused content, that kind of stuff. I'm saying a lot of the character models, maybe even the engine, just with some tweaks.
Physics. I mean, the physics seemed. I mean, I guess. What was it? A couple of weeks ago, we were talking that I think it was a different GameFAQs leak that was saying that it was going to be a cross between Melee and WiiU speed. So it was going to kind of marry the two and have it be in between there. So that's the only, I guess, hiccup that could be different for the physics engine and just the character models and all that, kind of how it responds. But if there's something that they can do to tweak their engine a little bit and save 90% of the assets there, then I don't have a problem with how it looks graphically or how it plays. And if they can improve upon it and then put it in a machine that I can take with me where I go, I'm down.
Dude, I can't wait. When you just to have it on the Switch is going to be so much easier. Like, look, we could practice on the 3DS, but like the more we've played on the Wii U, the harder it is for me to go back and play on the 3DS. If it was my only option to play Smash, I could see myself doing it regularly. But man, you get the GameCube controller in your hand, and it's hard. It's hard to go. Yep. It's hard to leave the just the sticks. You know what I mean? Like, and the button layouts. So,
well, and that was an item of contention this week in our Discord. So, I think we had some people who maybe didn't necessarily grow up playing on 64 and GameCube with the controllers and how they evolved in that way, and we're perfectly happy with the Wiimote and nunchuck, or the Wiimote sideways and how the game plays that way. But I think we've been having that discussion in the Discord about why the GameCube controller is kind of the perfect way to play and really master Smash.
Yeah, here's what I was thinking about today. What if instead of with the Wii U, we were given the adapter to take actual GameCube controllers?
Were we given it? You had to fight tooth and nail to get one.
Well, I didn't, but some people did. Yes, I walked into a Best Buy and walked out with it. So it was simple for me that day, but not for everybody. What if this time around we get a Pro controller based on the GameCube layout, but without the analog triggers? Because those don't do anything in Smash on the Wii U anyway. Well,
and they don't respond right now because the Wii U adapter does work on the Switch right now after firmware update 4. I believe it was 4.0 that added that option to plug it in. But I don't think it recognizes it's only digital input. It doesn't recognize the analog triggers, correct?
Right. And because of that, it's an awfully long throw. You know, which I believe in Smash Wii U, you don't have to. I believe it recognizes it by just a gentle touch, right? But it's still a super long throw. So I think for me, if we saw the Pro controller merged with the GameCube controller, because we can already plug a Pro controller into the Switch and turn off the NFC reader and make it a wired connection. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, to be able to unplug, set it up tabletop, and then play the Switch, I would much prefer practicing without having to be docked.
Yeah.
And not using the Joy-Con controllers, because I don't want to use my grip.
Yeah, those joysticks aren't tall enough to.
No, it's not. I mean, look, we play on the DS. There's no length on that circle pad anyway. It's all just, it's all flush. But the perfect way in my mind to be able to play Smash on the Switch on the go is going to be tabletop mode with a Pro controller that hopefully is merged with the GameCube controller. So we get to see the giant A button, just the button layout the same, 2 bumpers, 2 triggers. I just love the feel of the sticks on the GameCube controller. So hopefully they could get something like that. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think the perfect setup for you is?
Yeah, there was, I believe I've seen one. There is a Pogen controller, correct? With I think it had just 4 buttons on it or something like that. It's
a D-pad and 4 buttons. That's it.
So, I mean, there is precedent there that I guess.
But it's wired.
Yeah. I think, but the what's the difference right now in those licensed character controller Pro controllers that are wired at Walmart compared to, because those are $20, right?
Yeah, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah. I mean, the only downside to that is that you'd have to have a USB-C to USB-A adapter for the bottom of your Switch in handheld, that then the kickstand doesn't work and you just have to lay it flat on the ground if you want to use a wired controller like that. So, I mean, it adds in extra barriers, I guess, to being able to play how you want versus having that little bit of input lag if you're just practicing in handheld, or if you want that quick response, you suck it up and use the Joy-Cons, I guess, attached to the system. But I think ultimately, if Nintendo wants to, they are supporting the GameCube controller on Switch, because right now I don't see them not having the inputs recognized from the GameCube adapter plugged in while it's docked. I don't see them not supporting that because it is there. But I do see them, if they don't want to remanufacture the adapter, then coming out with a Pro controller that would meet the needs, look like a GameCube controller, and have that kind of feel that I think a lot of people are wanting to have from it. And we know that Nintendo's has been talking to pros. Yes, I think a little bit. So maybe they're getting input from them. So,
I mean, I'm holding the Pro controller right now. Honestly, this thing is going to be amazing for Smash. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be an amazing controller for Smash. And it already is a step ahead of the GameCube controller because of the second bumper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're missing. I have my GameCube controller right here in front of me, and we're missing
Z button.
Yeah, we only have ZR and not ZL. So
yeah, so I mean, I think it's completely capable. But there's just something about holding the GameCube controller and playing Smash, right? I mean, that's what we talked about it in the Discord quite a bit. It was why do people want the GameCube controller? I think part of it is just like, it's like a fight stick in an art for like Street Fighter.
Yeah, and I was talking to a friend this week, and it's rare that a company supports a controller for as long as they have. That it just shows how I put it on par with the 360 controller. I mean, where it sets a standard for what it is, and it came out after the monstrosity that was the three-handed craziness of the 64 controller to actually fit in your hand well and make sense with the button layout, and then it's since been supported all the way through the continuing systems of Nintendo. They had GameCube adapter ports built into the Wii, and the system played GameCube games. And then with the WiiU, they came out with the WiiU adapter, albeit they waited 3 or 4 years into the development, or 3 years into the development of the WiiU to put it out with Smash. But the reason to have that controller was for that game, so they embraced that. And then with the 4.0 firmware update, they allow it to be used in Switch games. And I think the biggest community that is happy about that was the Brawlout community, that they're playing a version of Smash that I think originally that game was created by Melee modders that wanted to create an even more competitive, non-party game, fighting game that was in the vein of Smash Bros. So
I'm holding right now one of these janky GameCube looking controllers that it's Mario branded. My wife and I both have them. She has the peach one, right? They're a shiny plastic. They just, all of the buttons feel very janky. The sticks feel bad. But there's a few things to note about this controller and the GameCube controller that's missing on the Pro controller. And I think the biggest thing that people would miss playing Smash is where your stick, you can hit your angles and it puts you in the right place.
Yeah,
right?
I'm looking at mine right now, and
it's got that hexagon or whatever it is.
Is
like
this an octagon? 1, 2, 3.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's an octagon. So yeah, eight-way directional joystick. Which, I mean, that's in essence what you get with a D-pad, where you're hitting those angles, and it's 8-way directions, and so. But it's just locking the randomness that could be in a 360 movement stick into kind of falling into its spot a little bit better.
So that's an E3 prediction that we're gonna see a hybrid GameCube Pro controller. I could be totally wrong. It may just be that we're going to use GameCube games, and then we're GameCube controllers, and then we're going to just mainly practice on, while it's docked, and it'll be a similar situation now. It's just at least we'll have some, as we have with the Wii U and the 3DS. At least we will have some sticks. Period. Right. Yep. Versus just the circle pads. So, through the years, Nintendo has done a pretty good job of offering a variety of ways to play this game, and even making the good decision of removing motion control. And the Wii had the most options, I believe. Actually, it was probably the Wii U, because you had the gamepad also. You could play, and it has adapted year after year. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a mode in Smash or a control type that you could hold both your Joy-Cons in each hand and play just like
play arm style punching.
Well, I don't know that. Who knows? There's always a possibility, but there could be some kind of waggle or something like that is tied to.
Because with the Wii, right, you had flick up and all sorts of crazy motion controls with just I think there were 2 ways to play with the Wii, just the Wiimote, where you could have it sideways. Could you have it just the Wiimote without the nunchuck, and then also with the nunchuck? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But I think there were a ton of options with it.
I remember thinking
a lot of them seemed non-competitive and party gamey and all that kind of stuff. It was. I think those options were there for your kids, and for if you had people over for 8-man Smash and they all didn't have controllers to bring themselves, and you needed a way to have fun and play, and everyone had 4 Wiimotes laying around plus some GameCube controllers, so you could try to get as many of those players in on the 8-man Smash.
Yeah, I remember we bought the old Pro controllers. Those flat white controllers that they used for the Wii.
Those still had to plug into
They had to plug into the Wii remote. Yeah, but at least you had your sticks.
And I had a couple of those as well, and I think I have somewhere buried around here. I have the special GoldenEye one that came with the re-release of GoldenEye that was gold or something like that.
Ooh, tell me more.
Fancy.
Tell me more. So, but the question that was in our Discord is why is the GameCube controller the preferred controller? And my answer to that is that it is what it's what a fight stick is to Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Tekken, Killer Instinct, all of those games. They all feel better with a fight stick. Smash, it's just what we've used for so long, and the fact that Nintendo has stuck with it for so many, there's going to be something. I can't imagine they're going to just put their foot down and say, have fun with your Pro controllers, even though you've been using the GameCube controller for so long. Like, it's a chance for them to sell another peripheral. So we've seen very clearly that they do not like missing out on sales when demand is there.
Yeah. And I think also just ergonomics of the button layout. The A button is oversized on the GameCube controller. B is right there, easily accessible right next to A. And then X and Y are mappable, at least in this current version. I don't remember if you could do that in previous versions, but you can map it to whatever suits your fancy for jump or for grab or for shield or however you want to play it. And so those buttons are also, they're not taking up a lot of real estate, but they're easily accessible as well. So it's just how it fits in your hand, and just the C stick as well. If you need to get that guaranteed smash attack off, you know that instead of having to sit there and charge up A, you can hit that C stick and you're guaranteeing that charged up smash.
Last thing on our list here, Colorado Smash scene. You stumbled across this, and I have a link to a YouTube video that'll kind of get you guys some info if you're in the Colorado area. But no, if you're in the state, check this video out. There may be there's a Facebook group, and
I did stumble across their Discord as well. So I think, yeah, I mean, they have it's a community I didn't realize it was there, but it kind of goes back to what Scott was talking about a couple weeks ago when we had him on, about how the Smash community is. We originally started when we were looking for local groups on Smash boards, and how that is just so much information to sift through, and all these local groups have kind of just been on Facebook, and that seems to be where they organize and how they get the word out and let you know where it is, when it is, and how often it's happening, and they can invite you from there. A lot of groups are private groups that you have to request to get into, but I mean, I think as long as you're taking the time to seek them out, they're going to let you in. And how I found it was, I have a coworker at work who has been telling me that he could beat me in Smash, and I did not refute him. I knew that he could beat me because I know where you and I are at. But then he goes on to tell me that his brother is number one in the state in Colorado in Smash. So he's had that at-home practice with on just another level that we're not quite there yet. I don't know if we'll ever get there. So so yeah, I mean, so after he and I were talking on, I think it was Tuesday, I went and just sought out their Facebook group and kind of found everything. And I'm kind of busy these next couple of weeks, but I do want to try to find a time to go. They have, it looks like events, I mean, up and down, if you're familiar with the Front Range of Colorado. I mean, Fort Collins up at CSU, in Boulder at CU, that seems to have, and then also in Golden with the Colorado School of Mines. So the three kind of big colleges here, up and down, which, I mean, they're about an hour and a half total up and down the range from where I live. And then even further south on Colorado Springs and Pueblo. So there's events going on all over the place, and it seems to be every day of the week there's at least something going on. And so I kind of want to, I don't necessarily think I'm up for trying to get my butt kicked just yet, but I do want to kind of just go and be a fly on the wall and kind of just see some of those events here sometime in the future.
And I just did a quick search on, I just Googled real quick, Smash Bros, like Washington Smash Bros Facebook groups. And I found a handful of Eastern Washington, but then I found a Pacific Northwest group that does have a Discord server. And so, you know, the Facebook group has almost 1,600 people in it. It looks like it's fairly active. And so, you know, I may check some of these things out and maybe get involved. see what's up around here. So we'll see. Excuse me. We're about to wrap this up, but we got to get to our character, which is Cloud. Yep. You guys can see him fighting Mario right now if you're watching this live or watching this on YouTube. This is a character you like to pull out every now and again, and he speaks softly but carries a very large sword. I snagged a few videos. If you're interested in playing Cloud, I grabbed a video from my Smash Corner and Izawsmash. You can watch those right in the show notes. Okay, and then I grabbed a match for pros, as far as what pros to watch, and the match I found was Zero versus Ally, Cloud versus Mario, which is what we got on the screen right now as well. And so you can check those out. Cloud is a pretty interesting character. What do you like? What do you dislike about him?
Yes, I've dabbled a little bit. It is Cloud has just a really charged up attack if you can get it all the way charged, it's I don't know what the percentage is that you can have a guaranteed kill, but I think it's fairly low if you can manage to get the hit off. And he's got a decent amount of range from the few pro matches that we've kind of watched over the last couple of weeks on Twitch. I've seen Cloud used by a few different people playing in those tournaments, and from what I've seen happen, I don't know what the I haven't had a chance to watch the videos yet that you have in the show notes, but I think he's a very strong lateral kind of control character. So take your character from one edge of the map to the other, and then really work on those left and right end smashes to just kind of not necessarily up, not necessarily down, but just taking it all the way left or right off the map is what he's kind of specialized in.
Gotcha. So there's Cloud. If you guys are interested in seeing more about him, there's two or three videos right now you can check out in the show notes, n64josh.com/SBC12. For Smash practice, I'll be honest, I've been a bad Smash student. I've only played like once since last episode. I promise to play more this week. Life just gets ahead of me, and so I haven't been doing much. But I did grab a 4 mistakes new players make, and included that video. You know, and it talks about some pretty basic things like how they newbies like to roll a lot. You know, they made jokes. I saw some of the jokes in the comments about like just going into For Glory and seeing people roll all over the place.
Scott's straight a couple weeks ago about that. So
yeah, so this is it's a pretty good video. I recommend checking it out. The video from last week I'm still referencing on like just having a routine. Like I want to get my routine with Smash of just getting the movements down and getting prepped, because we're gonna be playing this game sooner than later, and I can't wait. I want to make sure I'm up to par. So anything exciting as far as practicing or anything for you this week? Any breakthroughs? I know we kind of just talked about it briefly, but like again, the thing for me is just I jump into those matches and I tend to focus on one thing, but constantly trying to build that arsenal, you know. And watching and adapting. And I heard, and I can't remember if I've said it on here or not, but I know I've heard Zero say it before. And he said, if you're watching your character, you're doing it wrong. You should know where you are and be fine with where you are and watching what your opponent is doing and how you can be countering it. If you're watching your character, you're missing you're kind of missing the point here. So
yeah, it's a fast moving chess game is what it is.
Yeah, so you need to see and know what your opponent's doing and try to anticipate. And so any last any closing comments or anything?
Well, I know you and I've kind of talked about it. We haven't quite finalized what we're going to be doing next week, but we are going to be changing our date or our day of the week that we're going to be recording. I think our goal is going to be sometime in the early afternoon Pacific time on Fridays, right? Is that what we're working on?
We're pushing towards that. If you just listen to this audio, there's a good chance this is going to be a Monday morning podcast, possibly. So it may come out Fridays, but it may be late afternoon for most people or early evening. So if that's where we end up, it's just we're just still trying to get our bearings here and figure out like what's going to be best for families and still being able to get out stuff on a regular basis. So, but tentatively right now, next Friday at like, what'd you say, 1 or 2 p.m.?
Probably like 2 Pacific, I think is going to be best.
So 2 p.m. Pacific, we'll be recording this show live. So if you guys want to be able to come hang out with us, it'll be much easier to do that. So with that, I think we're going to get out of here. Nightcrawler, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Nightcrawler724, and Nightcrawler is without the E. You can also come hang out with us in the N64 Josh Discord. I'm always in there, and we're having lots of fun.
For sure. You guys are hearing the Metal Melee right now. You can check out the full video at n64josh.com/Metal Melee. If you want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/SBC. Guys, the chair I'm sitting in from OPSeat, go to opseat.com, use coupon code N64Josh, save $10. All their chairs are $50 off right now, and you can use my code and get an extra 10, so that's a total of $60 off. Pretty sweet deal. Show notes for this episode, n64josh.com/SBC12. Hey, like Crawler said, come join our community, n64josh.com/Discord. Find some people to play with. We're still all kind of prepping and getting ready for Smash on the Switch. We can't wait. You can follow me on Twitter at n64josh. You can follow the show on Twitter at SmashBrosCast. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have a minute, you can go onto iTunes, leave us a review. It really, really helps us. Crawler, thanks again. Chat, thank you guys. We will see you in the next episode.